Welcome to the Fab Four Travel Talk podcast with Kristy, Gina, Eric, and Kyle. Now, sit back and relax. Let's chat about some magical destinations.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to another episode of our podcast. This is a bit of a special episode, I guess you'd say.
Right.
On this episode, it's just going to be me, Kristy, and Gina.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about COVID-19, the coronavirus, and how it is affecting not only the travel industry and therefore our jobs, but also as moms, how it's affecting our lives at home. Because as most of you know, we're kind of in the same boat as 37 other states in the country with what's going on.
Right.
So we figured we'd talk about it.
I'm surprised. Wonder why the states that haven't called school yet. I wonder what's their thinking.
I was wondering that too. And I was wondering what states there are. Like, who is it that's not canceled?
Right. Because I know we don't have a whole lot. There's only been 40 documented cases here in North Carolina, which to me doesn't seem like that many. Our county has 0, but yet, the governor's made it mandatory for everybody in the state of North Carolina. And he just came out with today that restaurants are no longer allowed to provide dine-in services. That's only takeout and delivery.
Yeah. So. And that's in New Hampshire. The last I heard, we had 16 cases in the state of New Hampshire.
Okay.
But that's changing rapidly. But our governor over the weekend closed every school, said that was it. Allie's school had already decided that they were going to close and move to remote learning.
Because she goes to like a charter school, kind of like a private,
Well, it's a public charter school. Mm-hmm. But the issue we had was we have so many different communities coming into.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. That we knew that, like my town school had closed. Mm-hmm. So we had some kids who were going to be home with their siblings going to school.
Yep.
And it's like, if we're really trying to flatten that curve out, that's not going to work. So we made the decision, and I'm on the school board. But then before we could even do that, the governor took care of it for us.
We're like, okay.
And all of our restaurants and bars and all of that stuff is closed too. Except for takeout and delivery. So I don't know. And I should probably say to all of our listeners, this is definitely not going to be a medical podcast. This is going to be, you need to listen to your officials in your area and CDC and the World Health Organization. We're just moms and travel agents talking about this.
Right. We can tell you how the travel industry has been affected by this. That's our expertise, but we can't really tell you the scientific reasons and information. I mean, that's definitely go somewhere else for that. Yeah. But if you just want our spin on it,
Right. Yeah.
Stay tuned.
So you actually are dealing with something in your family related to this. So give us a little bit of what's going on there.
So last Thursday, we were already in the beginning of knowing all about that it was here in the States, and there were, documented cases in almost every single state at that point, but it wasn't affecting us personally by any means. And my husband's mom, my mother-in-law, who I love dearly, I don't have one of those relationships where you talk about, ooh, the evil mother-in-law. Yeah. I love my mother-in-law. I talk to her every single day. My father-in-law, he just passed away in January, so she's living by herself for the first time ever in her life. And she has leukemia, and she has what's called Addison's disease, where your body doesn't make its own adrenaline. You have to take artificial, so she takes cortisone every day. And anything that's like if she gets a stomach flu or something like that, it can be life-threatening to her, because your normal tendency is your body makes extra adrenaline to handle all that's going on. Her body doesn't do that naturally. So she has to be able to give herself extra cortisone or a she used to have a cortisone shot, but she's done so well, she doesn't have that anymore. So anyway, she's got extenuating circumstances. She is older. Well, lo and behold, somebody at her church was diagnosed. 2 people at her church tested positive for it. And as soon as I saw that, I called her in a panic because I knew that she had been sick and she's had upper respiratory. I don't know if it's upper or lower. I don't know what the difference is in upper and lower.
About that.
Yeah, but she's had respiratory. And if you go through all the symptoms of the coronavirus, she has every single one of those symptoms. So I was super duper concerned. I called the rest of the family as soon as she posted on Facebook that she was at church the same time these individuals were. That's how I found out about it. Yeah. And then I called like some of the other family members, and so we all tried to convince her to go to the emergency room. So eventually what she did is she called her doctor, and they said, call the CDC. And so she called the CDC, and then they told her to call her hospital and let them know that she's coming. And so that is what she did. And when she called, they discouraged her from coming. Yeah. So then us as concerned, now we are located, my husband and I and my family are about 5 hours away from her. So it's not like I can just jump in the car and cart her down there myself, because believe me, I would have. Right. So my husband got on the phone with her and talked to her and finally convinced her to go down to the hospital. So they took her around. She was totally quarantined the entire time, and they did the test, and she said that it was horrible. Like the mucus and stuff that they have to get, because the corona from what I understand, is a dry. You don't have a lot of phlegm and stuff, but that's what they need to get to test you. And so they had to really scrape a lot and go pretty far up in through your nose. Mm-hmm. She said it was absolutely horrible, and she would never want to have to experience that again. So that was last Thursday night. We are still waiting to find out if she has the virus or not.
And it's Tuesday afternoon now.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, so 4+ days.
Right, and we were told, or she was told, that it would be 2 to 3 days before she found out. So we're a little bit frustrated, to say the least, about that, because the president took his and got his back way quicker. So what's going on? I mean, I know he's the president of the United States, but doggone it, this is my mother-in-law, Right. So, and, from our understanding, quite a number, over 50 plus people now from that particular church has tested positive. And they were all there those 2 Sundays. So, I feel like she has it, or has had it, and is now maybe coming on the down end of it, because there were a couple of days there where she really had a hard time breathing. She had shortness of breath. You could just tell, just answering the phone was very labored for her. She has been she called 911 twice, and actually was in the hospital yesterday because they felt like she got dehydrated and her Addison's disease was kind of causing some effects. So she was admitted into the hospital, was there maybe 8 hours, and they sent her home. And they still felt like that was the best scenario, even if she does have it, for her to be at home as opposed to being in the hospital around it.
Yeah. And I have heard a lot of that, especially the reality of how many beds we don't have in this country. Mm-hmm. Never mind ICU beds, but just regular old hospital beds.
Right.
Was shocking to me.
Yeah.
And I have been hearing, and I guess this part's not new, they usually do send you home rather quickly because you can get some really nasty bugs.
Yeah.
Just being in the hospital. So I kind of know why they're sending people home, because I've been hearing that as well too. Mm. But I worry about your mother-in-law because she's alone.
Well, that's our concern, is that there is no one to monitor her, and no one, she said this morning, I talked to her about 9:00 And at that point, she said, okay, I've had breakfast and I'm forcing fluids, but is she really? I would be willing to go and to stay with her.
Yeah.
But the rest of my family is not willing for me to do that because their community is just like a hotbed right now. That whole county is just full of it. So, they don't want me going into that, coming from a community that no one has it, right, and then going where it's just, drastically full. They're just super worried about me doing that. So I have said I wouldn't, and she told me that if I came, she would not let me in the door.
Yeah.
So, although I could take her down, but.
Well, and you know what, that thing I think that I find there's so many levels of disturbing with this whole thing.
Right.
But one of them is that rather than being proactive, we are such in a reactive mode.
Right.
And the level of anger that I am finding myself dealing with and trying to manage because it's the reactivity.
Right.
I'm always been a really proactive kind of person. Like I am, I'm a big details person and I struggle with the little details.
Right.
So when I'm watching this happen around me and I'm thinking, why weren't we better prepared for this? And why did we spend weeks telling each other it's just the flu?
Right. Exactly. And I still see people post that, and it irritates me because this is not just the flu.
Right.
I
find that social media is a help and a beast at the moment.
It is.
Because you're getting like inundated with stuff, which is why we kind of wanted to make this podcast a little different rather than sharing statistics and talking about like the doom and gloom. Focus more on what's really happening in our lives rather than speculating what's going to happen and, that kind of thing. But the idea that on social media, you get people that are like, I literally have a friend, and I use the word loosely because we all have these people, right, on Facebook that they're calling friends, but really we're associates somehow.
Yeah.
They're huge St. Patrick's Day drinkers, partiers, people.
Yeah.
And so today is St. Patrick's Day and people are up in arms because the bars are closed. And I get it to a certain degree.
Right.
But I also think, I'm sorry, but my Disney World is closed, so I don't care about your bars.
Exactly. Raglan Road is not open.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But she instead is having a house party. So she is inviting all of her people to her house to drink and party like it's 2019.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, no, because people are going to leave your house and go infect other people, or at least put other people at risk. Why?
Right.
Why? I mean, if you want to drink your Guinness at home and have your corned beef and cabbage at home, do that.
Yeah.
But accept the fact that this year is just different.
Right. Exactly.
Because it is.
What it is. I mean, does it feel like St. Patrick's Day? No, it doesn't. I mean, there's not, like, it took me forever to realize it was St. Patrick's Day this morning even. And I'm
wearing green underwear, but that's all I have.
Are you? Wow. Okay. Well,
and that was just an accident. I am wearing pants. And actually, I'm wearing green pants. I didn't even think about it. It's like army green.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was like, green pants does not match what your shirt is.
No, it doesn't. I don't know if I can get my
a
little bit of green.
Yeah, you do. Army green.
My number one green thing right now is this.
Your wipes.
My disinfectant wipes.
I'm drinking out of a green glass.
There you go. But that's the thing, right? Like, we have to be responsible grown-ups.
Right.
And understand that this is not regular times. And they'll be back. I mean, I gotta believe by next St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, yeah.
We can all be out partying again.
Well, I've seen this, I don't know what you would call it. It wasn't really a poem, but I don't know, like a saying or something that I've seen a couple of people post, and this is true. Take this time to think back fondly on when you did have your get-togethers with your friends and how excited you'll be able to shake that person's hand the next time you see them. think back to when, you did go to the movies while you sit at home and watch your movies now, and think how excited you'll be to have that interaction with unknown people when the big blockbuster comes on or whatever. It was things like that, things that, we can't do those things right now, but you know what? We took them for granted. Yeah. So this is like hitting the big social reset button to me.
Yeah.
That maybe we'll come out of this. The optimist in me is hoping that on the flip side of all of this, we'll appreciate the things that we had that we didn't really appreciate before because we took them for granted. And now we know they're not just things that you can't always just go to a restaurant and go out to eat.
Right.
That's not necessarily a thing. So maybe next time you'll really appreciate that restaurant when you go to it and that server. So you'll tip them a little extra because you'll be more thankful that you're there.
Yeah.
So
speaking of movies, did you hear what Universal is doing? Universal Pictures?
Yes, I did.
So they're going to release their in the theater movies direct to streaming the same day as they were planning on releasing them in the movie theaters, because in a lot of states, including mine, the movie theaters are now closing.
Right.
So like, not that it's a huge deal, but Trolls World Tour, like the new Trolls movie.
Ah!
Yay! I mean, it's cute, but
right.
They're going to be doing that. And I kind of hope to see all of the movie theaters going in that direction.
I do too. Yeah.
And I know that they said that it'll be like $14.99 or $19.99, which
I think it's $19.99, I think.
It's a bargain when you consider how much it costs a family of four to go to the movies.
Oh my gosh, we can't go to the movies for under $100.
Right.
It's crazy. Right. So yeah, that's a total deal.
Yeah. So I think that we're seeing that right now. I'm seeing a lot of people that are being selfish.
Are you?
I am. The toilet paper thing,
I laugh at that, and maybe I shouldn't be, but I laugh at it because I'm like, do they not understand diarrhea is not a symptom of this coronavirus? Like, hello, there are paper plants in America that make toilet paper.
Right.
And we're going to get toilet paper. Like, I don't think that we're not ever going to get toilet paper again. Like today, I saw a Facebook post that my Target had pallets of toilet paper.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's just getting them out
to
the people, because
well, I think now they're going to limit it a bit.
Yeah.
Which they didn't do at first because they were thinking, what is wrong with people?
Right. Exactly. But it's just that whole crowd mentality where one person does it and so the other person goes, oh, that's a good idea, and then it just spreads. Because I went and bought the last time, not this time, because I just got home from the grocery store, which we definitely need to talk about that.
Yeah.
But a couple of times ago when I went, I bought some toilet paper because I saw some on the shelf, and even though we had enough, but I was like, we don't have enough for 2 weeks. So I mean, we are 3 females in the house.
If you're going to buy enough for 2 weeks for your family, that leaves enough for the other people.
Right. Exactly.
If you're buying toilet paper for a year,
it
doesn't leave enough because your stores don't have toilet paper for everybody for a year all at once.
Now, my thought process is like, how much are these people spending on this toilet paper? And I need other things, because if I didn't have that money to buy food, if I used it all on toilet paper, then I'm not going to need the toilet paper because I'm not going to be pooping anything out because I got no food.
Right.
Like, I'm like, how much money do these people have to spend on toilet paper? I mean, don't you need to take that money and apply it to something else?
Yeah, I don't know.
People only have X amount of money, and right now it's probably less than you normally would have. I know it's hurting us.
Yeah, it's hurting us big time too.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the grocery store, because you went today. I went today for a couple things.
Okay.
But tell me what it's like at the grocery store in North Carolina right now.
So it's busy, definitely busy. It felt more like a Friday night or a Saturday at the grocery store as opposed to a Tuesday afternoon at the grocery store. Now, mind you, the governor just did say this morning that restaurants were closing at 5 p.m. today. So for dine-in, I don't want to think anybody that's in North Carolina that's listening, please go and get your lunch and dinner at these small family restaurants. Just get it takeout or delivery, because these places are not going to survive if we just stop and just don't patronize them at all. So we went, we got takeout for lunch and then came back home, and Maddie and I headed out to the grocery store. So it was busy. When we first walked in, I didn't really notice a whole lot of change. We went to Publix because there's only one Publix in town, and I feel like they really stay stocked on everything. And I passed our local grocery store right here in the community that I live in, Mountain View, and there were like a ton of people at the Food Lion. So we drove across town and went to Publix. So produce section was kind of odd. Like when we first walked in, I didn't notice major changes, but then we got deep into the produce section. There's no carrots, no potatoes, zero.
Oh my.
No onions. There was one bag of onions, and I almost bought it because it was just one bag left, but I don't need onions, so I didn't buy it. Imagine that.
Right.
No carrots whatsoever, which I thought was very odd.
That is odd.
Yeah. In the meat section, no chicken. And there's signs up that says limit to 2. And right next to that sign was a lone pack of chicken livers. And I'm like, so you can only buy 2 packs of chicken livers? Is that what this means? But no, it was where the whole poultry section was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And it was wiped out. I mean, there was nothing. The milk was the same way. I had to buy organic brown eggs because that's all that there was. There were quail eggs, and then there were those organic $4.99 for a dozen eggs. And Maddie has a project for for math that she's an AP calculus, and for extra credit, they have to figure out the ingredients list, the amount of the ingredients that they need to make chocolate chip cookies. It's a specific recipe. So we had to have eggs. So now she has to solve all these equations to figure out how many, cups of sugar or flour or whatever. So I had to buy the darn $4.99 eggs. But it's I didn't even look where the toilet paper was because I didn't need it. But most everything that I needed on my list, which was normal food, I got corned beef and cabbage. That was both on my, because I always make corned beef and cabbage on St. Patrick's Day. So they had both of those. And then I had like random other things to get. And they had it all. But it was amazing to me to see something as simple as potatoes completely gone.
Yeah.
They had jackfruit, no potatoes.
So we have been to the grocery store. Eric went late last week, and then Allie and I went yesterday to get the stuff that we needed. Mm-hmm. Again, not extra stuff. Although I gotta tell you, I don't know if you guys are doing this, but we are eating constantly.
Oh my God.
It's like, I had lost about 22 pounds. Mm-hmm. And I swear to God, I am in trouble. I'm in so much trouble. But we grabbed stuff that we needed, some snacks, and my idea was I had to go to the pharmacy. Mm-hmm. And that's where our pharmacy is, in the grocery store.
Okay.
So I was like, while we're here, we'll go grab some stuff. And I said, one thing we did need is hand soap. We have some in the kitchen, some in the bathroom, but we were running low. And I was like, that's not what we need to be running low on right now.
Right. Yeah.
So I forgot to check for that yesterday. And then one of the medications I needed wasn't available yesterday. It was supposed to be coming in today. Mm-hmm. So I went back today and I bought, by the way, we did get carrots.
Oh,
we were able to buy a 3-pound bag of like regular whole carrots.
Yeah, see, those were all gone. Yeah.
We did get 4 potatoes, like the yellow golden potatoes.
Right.
But we had no onions
3
either.
individual potatoes?
Yes.
Well, what are you making with 3 potatoes?
Baked potatoes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You don't eat potatoes very often?
We don't ever buy a bag because we don't eat them enough. So by the time we eat them, they've got eyes growing out of them, and no thanks.
Right. No.
I don't have any of that. And the last time here's a tip for all of our listeners. If you buy a bag of potatoes, don't shove them in a cabinet and forget that they're there.
Oh, yeah.
Because at some point you're going to have an infestation of fruit flies and you're not going to know why you have fruit flies.
Right.
And then you open this cabinet and they all are coming out at you.
Oh, gross. Oh, I bet you
a while ago.
Yeah.
I think 2 summers ago. And oh my God, I almost had to move out.
Yeah.
I almost had to move to you because it was so disgusting. I'm like, I can't even be in the state anymore with these.
You know the easiest way to get rid of fruit flies?
Vinegar?
Well, or you can use red wine. You probably have vinegar where you would not have red wine, but you make a funnel out of a piece of paper, stick it in a glass, and they go to it.
So I did the same thing with apple cider vinegar because the apple's sweet.
Yeah.
And that attracted them. And that we had several of those all around the kitchen, funneling them. Anyway, so yeah, we only bought a couple potatoes, but they didn't have any onions. But they also, today when I went back, they didn't have one of my prescriptions still. And I looked at the guy and I was like, I know this isn't your fault. And he starts laughing. He goes, thank you. And I'm like, I'm not. I said, but I was here yesterday and I'm here today. And I don't want to have to come back tomorrow. Yeah. And he said, well, we could mail it to you. If you prepay for it now, we'll mail it to you. And I was like, yes, please.
Right.
I just pay for it and it'll come. And we could do that because although I'm just not out yet. It's due. I'm going to be out as of Monday, but that's almost a full week.
Yeah.
So he's like, it should be on the truck today. I'll just send it out to you.
Good.
So I was like, oh, good. I don't have to come back here.
Nice.
But we're completely out of hand soap except for some organic weird stuff that I bought only because I needed it.
Right.
And then I grabbed Dove baby head to toe wash.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, can't you use shampoo and just put it in the pump and like water it down some if it doesn't pump?
You could.
Okay.
So I like to have the antibacterial soap, even though I know that's not required.
Right.
Because
do they even make that anymore?
Antibacterial soap?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's quite a few, like Soft Soap has like a kitchen one.
Okay.
And so I have them. The Dial Orange is still antibacterial.
Okay.
I mean, taking a picture of it and I didn't think about it. But there was literally this whole soap area. And on the very corner of it was this organic stuff that smells like lemon and eucalyptus. So I got that. And then I went to the baby section because I was like, oh, I bet they'll have some pump soap over here.
Mm-hmm.
Or viewers, whichever you are.
Yeah.
I hid it in the bathroom closet because Eric is going to be like, what in the Sam hell are you buying liquid baby soap for?
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
And I'm like, until we need it, it can live there.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Who knows?
Well, that's what's so hard about all this is that you just don't know. And, we know that school's out till the end of the month. We know that Walt Disney World's closed to the end of the month. We know certain things are happening for about 2 weeks. But past that, we just don't know. And I got to think you're just like me. We're both planners. So only knowing what I'm going to be doing for 2 weeks, I don't like it. I really don't. And I understand it's just it's the time that we live in. It's just what we're going to have to deal with right now. But I don't like it. Yeah, I'm going to pitch a fit. I just don't like it.
You know what? That's a good point, though. I feel like because I'm a mom and a business owner, I can't act like a toddler. But I really want to.
Right.
I had to go to a meeting late on Saturday, and it was a non-negotiable. I had to go. I ended up having a fit the entire way from home to my meeting because I finally felt like I was alone and I could fall apart temporarily. Yeah. I was like, and I am not an alarmist. Like my nature is to very much be like, all right, we've got this and that, and we're good. And
Well, I think because for us in the travel industry, it was hitting us left and right. I mean, just before it hit anybody else, it hit the travel industry. Now the poor restaurants and bars are getting it. But we've already been there, done that. We've canceled everything. Now we're just trying to figure out, what are we going to do for revenue between now and whenever. I mean, thank goodness I have a set of clients that want to arrive on April 1st, the day that they think the parks are going to open back up and be there for it, you know? And I'm like, hallelujah. If they actually do open up on April the 1st, I'll have some clients. But it's just been, I think we dealt with a nightmare before a lot of other industries had to. Yeah. And so we're kind of to the point now where we're just like, we're done. We're just freaking done.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like burnt toast.
Yeah, that's a great way to, yeah, that's a great way to do it. Like,
you know, and I'm heartbroken, about the situation that we're all in as travel agents.
Right.
I'm also heartbroken. Like, we have, our team of nearly 30 agents, we're all feeling it at various levels.
Right.
Some of us rely on this income.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just
right
extra spending money.
Right.
Others of us have, you know, it is extra spending money or whatever. Mm-hmm. So that it's still an impact, but not quite the same.
Right.
But we also have one of our agents who's been with us since the beginning. Her family owns a pizza restaurant.
Yeah.
That she's having to lay people off.
If I could order pizza from her, oh my God. Right. I feel like buying gift cards from her.
Yeah, I mean, that certainly works. What I was coming to, though, is like, I have some friends locally that own.
I just had an idea. What? If I buy gift cards from her and then I turn them in for Guru Weekend and she's forced to bring me my pizzas Guru Weekend.
Oh, there you go.
I should do that, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
I wonder if
I think they're doing online gift cards. I think I saw that.
She'd hate me for that.
So this is where I was thinking too, like, we have local restaurants that we patronize, and
right.
I've always been a huge shop local person, but I'm in the position right now where I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I mean, right now we're okay.
Right. Sure.
But if I'm looking at this going even a month later, I can't.
Well, because our industry, the way that we get paid is typically could be anywhere from a week to a month after our clients travel. So like right now it's okay because we had people traveling last month. Right. So when it was really going to hurt is April and May, which I was looking at banging. Like April was a banner month for me, which that means that's a great month for you. Right. You know, for every month that we have a great month, you have a great month. And now it's nothing. Right. Unless those people that actually get to go that want to go. And then that's not, I mean, it's something, but it's not a huge trip, you know?
Right.
And I don't mean to minimize, I'm not trying to minimize anybody's vacation. Every single client is just as important, whether it's a small amount of money or a large amount of money. They're all equally important. But I'm just talking from a revenue standpoint. Thank goodness Kyle's the breadwinner in our household. I don't mind saying that.
Yeah.
But I do contribute. And me not contributing is going to hurt. You know, I just, and it is totally a trickle down, because if you think about it, we're not going to be able to patronize restaurants who are going to have to lay people off, who then are not going to be able to afford to book travel.
Right. Right. And that's kind of where we're at too. I mean, thank God Eric is the breadwinner in our family too,
mm-hmm.
but I absolutely contribute, and we have some major things coming up, college.
Right.
That without my income, you know.
Well, that's what we're going to be forced to tap into, because we have, you know, we have money put aside, but it's for that, you know, that's what it's for. And the reality is that car insurance comes due in April, and my cushion is not going to be there for that. So what are we going to do?
Right.
You have to go to other places. And it just sucks. I mean, there's no way to, it just sucks, but it sucks equally for everybody, because I can't imagine that there's a single person out there listening or watching that is not touched by it in some shape, form, or fashion.
Yeah, the ripples are endless.
They're endless.
When you start to follow them,
right?
It's like, and I did that. I'm on the board for Allie's school,
Mm-hmm.
and so we were looking at making the decision to cancel school.
Yeah.
Just that alone, we kept going, and then, and it was
right.
like, you look at just that endless piece, and the economic impact of this is huge.
And here's another thing. It really makes me think we are all interwoven as a society, and we should all care about each other equally, because what I do today affects a multitude of people. Yeah. It may not directly pay for the baggage boy that was taking out my groceries, but if that company was not getting revenue, they wouldn't be able to, have him do that job. Or, my one meal that I might get takeout from a restaurant is not going to make or break them, but a lot, 120 of those would.
Well, imagine like you're getting delivery or curbside, and you tip the person that is helping you, right?
Right.
That $20 could be gas for their car to get them home again.
Right.
Or it could be
to work the next day. Right. That hopefully that cycle will continue.
Or even buying, if their store has carrots, being able to buy carrots for their kids.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. It is, and that I guess this whole interwoven thing, I'm hoping in the end is going to be a positive way that we've all now learned.
I just have to have my faith in humanity is still there, and it's still strong enough that I just have to think that we see that. Like I have clients who have warehouses, and their warehouses are empty right now because there's ships sitting off the coast of China that can't come here and deliver the goods that are supposed to be in their warehouses. And so they're not getting paid because that's empty space.
Yeah.
It's just.
So somebody in our area was talking about they have storage units, like the large bay storage units.
Right.
And apparently somebody in the government has asked them if they could use those as makeshift hospital rooms.
Holy whoa, wow.
Yeah. So they are going to set these things up, and they've done it a couple times now to ambulance companies, their ambulance bays, and they're putting the ambulances out onto their like parking lot, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
And they've transformed that with hospital beds, because we know that the hospitals won't be able to hold all of the people.
Right.
So they're going to say, okay, here's an overflow spot, this ambulance company.
Oh yeah. So that reminds me, like, Kyle's brother went to yesterday when she was in the hospital. There was a period of time that none of us knew where Kyle's mom was.
Oh, yeah.
Here again, the whole scenario. She lives by herself. There's all these HIPAA requirements. Well, we didn't know, and they couldn't tell us. All they could tell us is that she was checked in and she was stable. That was it. That was all we knew. Finally, he got to a charge nurse that told him a little bit more, and she okayed the nurse to, freely provide information. But he said when he went to the hospital, they weren't allowing anybody to come in, and that there were all these tents. So all of that stuff that normally takes place, like when you come into the hospital, is all happening outside under tents. So that space can be used for triage and holding until a bed comes free for people.
Yeah.
Crazy. This is like MASH stuff,
Right. Right. Well, there was a thing I saw about the Spanish flu, that apparently similar things happened during that time frame, although they were obviously much less modern.
Yeah, that just reminded me of a story not related to the Spanish flu, because that's not funny, but I'll have to tell you in a minute.
Okay. But they said that they found people that were actually cared for in fresh air situations got better so much more quickly.
Oh, I bet.
Which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know what the temperature's like where you are, but up here, that's
Mhm.
not an option yet. If
Oh,
this
okay.
carries on a couple weeks to a month,
Mhm.
we could start doing stuff like that outside. But right
Okay.
now, I mean, it was snowing this morning here.
Oh my God.
You
Oh,
know, we woke
now
up and I was like, what the
really?
hell?
No, I mean, it's overcast, but the temperature is pleasant enough that, but that it could be a monsoon tomorrow. So who
You
knows?
just never know.
Right. So here's my funny story. We're driving down, we went to pick up lunch, and both my girls, Amelia and Maddie, both were in the car. And Amelia's like, this whole 2020 is really panning out to look a lot like the 20s, like the 1920s. And I was like, yeah. And so we were talking about the similarities. And I said, well, at least there's no prohibition. And I say that as I'm pulling into our local liquor store, because we're having a watch party, or a categories, or whatever. What are we doing tonight?
A virtual guru game night.
Yes, a virtual guru game night. And
alcohol.
I said I would be the bartender. So I feel like I better have a drink that I can show everybody that I made.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we stopped, and I run in, and the lady that's in the checkout line behind me, and I should not laugh about this, actually. It's quite sad, but she said, "They ain't talking about shutting you down, are they?" I mean, she was literally like panicked. And he was like, "No, ma'am, we haven't heard anything." She's like, "All right, they better not." I was like, "Oh, honey. Oh, dear."
I could be wrong, but I believe they shut the liquor stores down in Massachusetts today.
Oh, wow. Well, the problem is that your liquor stores are located in welcome centers, and there's a lot of people that go into those welcome centers.
Yeah. So in New Hampshire, the liquor stores are all owned by the state too.
Right. Ours are too.
We'll see if they close because of that.
Right.
But Massachusetts, they're independent owners. So Massachusetts governor said, no, they're closing.
Okay, so here's why I totally get shutting down the restaurants and stuff like that, because it's not economically feasible for a restaurant to be open for 10 people. But a liquor store, why can't they say, okay, there's 10 people allowed in at a time. Okay, there's 3 employees, so 7 people are allowed in. Because generally that is a place where you go in, you get what you need, and you get out. You don't linger a long time. Right. So then as a person leaves, then another person could come in. That's that's one of those situations that's totally manageable, I feel like. So why not allow that to happen?
So my gut is because I think that Massachusetts is edging towards a what do they call it?
Like a total lockdown?
Total lockdown, just like San Francisco just did.
Right.
Where shelter in place. I think that's what Massachusetts is coming to. Their case numbers are really jumping very rapidly.
Oh, okay.
In fact, I have 2 cousins, a cousin and his wife, that work at a company in Massachusetts that was really hard hit after a all hands on meeting.
Yeah.
And so they have not been able to be tested yet.
Why? I thought there was all these drive-by testings and stuff.
Right? No, all those beautiful tests haven't arrived yet. So they're treating the people at this company, now that they've had a couple of them confirmed. If you work for that company, it's assumed that you have COVID-19.
Oh, wow. Are they symptomatic?
My cousin is symptomatic as far as I know. Last I heard, his wife was not.
Okay, well.
But they're young.
Yeah.
So, it's very different in this situation as far as we know right now compared to your mother-in-law.
Right, exactly.
And he and his wife are living with their son, who's a toddler.
Okay.
And they're just in isolation. They have been for over a week now. And last I heard, he's fine. He's sick, but he doesn't have any other health issues.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. All right, let's move to what we're doing.
Okay.
Okay. So we're pretending that we're okay.
Right.
Because there's no other option.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
business-wise, for me, what I'm doing in addition to try to keep, up on things that are going on, I'm also focusing on the future.
Right.
And planning things when I've always said for so much time, I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that.
Right, exactly.
I'm like, okay, I got time.
Yeah.
I also cleaned out the bathroom closet, which shocked my family.
Oh, I bet.
I don't do that kind of thing.
Yeah. Eric's always the one that cleans stuff out in your household.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in there like rifling through stuff. I mean, I had medicine from 2015 in there.
Oh my gosh.
Tylenol. That was like, I'll throw that away. And
Yeah.
he comes down the hall. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, cleaning the closet. And he goes, oh. And he backed away and down the hallway. Probably like, okay, because that's him. He does that stuff. I don't do any of it.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I can see him like, hey, that's my territory. Why are you doing that?
Oh, no. He was very grateful to have me take some initiative in that area. But the thing I noticed today, and I shared with you and a couple of our other agents, I was feeling very disconnected from all you guys, because we normally on a regular basis, even though we're all over the country,
right,
we're like sharing fun things and we're excited and we've got this like, I don't know, love bursts like all the time because our jobs are so magical. They're rough, but you know, we have so many good things to share. And so that's why I came up with the idea that we're going to have this virtual game night tonight and play categories from all around the country.
I'm super excited. I'm excited about it.
I am too. I was sitting there on the couch rocking back and forth. Not really that bad. But I was like, what can I do that doesn't cost a dime and can be something where we can laugh and have fun?
Right.
Because we tried to play a game here the other day.
Oh, yeah.
We'll try again.
I laugh because our families are very similar.
Yeah.
Especially our teenagers.
Yeah.
They're high stress. They know everything.
Yeah.
And they legit do. Like, I was laughing this morning because Kyle and the girls are they're watching some show off of YouTube about they take each element on the periodic table and they really dissect it down and talk about how it interacts with the earth and in our daily lives and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, seriously? Y'all are watching this? Like,
this is what you're doing?
This is what you do? I mean, Kyle audits like all these college courses just for fun. And I'm like, y'all are weird. Like, really? There's part of my DNA in you guys? Because I'm not seeing it right now.
Right.
Meanwhile, I'm like, I'm over here in the kitchen with the chips and dip.
Right.
Watching Love is Blind on Netflix.
Oh, is that a good show? Should I watch that?
Oh, it's funny. It's a reality show.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know. It's interesting. I'll say that. I don't know if you like reality shows or not.
So I like certain reality shows. And actually in my group, I have a Facebook group, Magical Vacations with Mickey Guru, and you're in there. But I actually today asked people for recommendations for reality TV shows.
Right.
Because I feel like I need a serious break from reality. And that's what I would go to for that.
Go to reality. Okay, then watch it. Because it's about these couples who, there's like 20 men, 20 women. I don't know the exact number. But anyway, they speed date and they're in pods. So all you can do is talk to one another. So then, like, I think you meet with everybody on the first go round, and then afterwards you can request a date with certain people. Oh. So it trickles down, and it's only like a week, and then these people wind up proposing to each other and stuff like that, and then they meet each other afterwards to see what they physically look like. Yeah. Of course, there's nobody ugly on this show,
right.
But anyway. And then it takes them off into reality of life and do they actually get married or not? And so it's an interesting concept. Yeah. Nick Lachey and his wife do it.
Oh, okay.
So I enjoyed watching it. And I'm not a big, like, if I was left up to my own guys to sit in front of the TV each night and watch whatever I wanted to watch, I probably would watch The Bachelor, really. But that doesn't happen in my household. So I don't watch The Bachelor now, but I probably would. So if you like that kind of thing, definitely watch it because it's good.
One of my friends, Stacy, Stacy, she runs a social media, I was going to say it's a social media company. She basically advises small businesses on how to do social media effectively.
Yeah.
And she suggested the reality show Below Deck. And I had forgotten. It is. So I had forgotten about this, but I watched this on the airplane. Now they have like a couple episodes of things.
Yeah.
I watched on the airplane, and it was fascinating. They're like small yachts.
Oh,
and it's about the crew that work on the yachts.
Oh, cool.
So it's on Bravo.
Okay.
And I think it's online too. But that's definitely on my list too, because I remember being on the flight, and it was recently, not my last trip, but the trip before that. And I was like totally enamored with these crazy people and how they look totally professional and put together when they're up on board with their clients and servicing the guests on their ships or their boats. Right. And then down below, they are like raving lunatics. I'm like, this is the best. The best.
What does it say about our society that we like to watch that? Like we like to watch people that are different than us, that are in total juxtaposition. We find it fascinating. Yeah. What is that? I mean, it's just so funny.
It's like,
well, would you like to know what I've been doing during this downtime?
Yeah.
Cooking.
And you're going to do a cooking show, right?
I am going to do a cooking show. I think I have narrowed down what recipe I'm going to do. Yeah. It's from Boma. So it'll be a little bit different. And we'll see how it goes. I don't know. We'll Julia Childs, I may be. Oh,
just drink before you start,
right?
And then you can be drunk. Gina's cooking. drunk cooking with Gina.
Drunk cooking with Gina, yeah. So and then I may make a drink. I may do a mixology drink too, or I may leave that to Kyle if he's up for it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, I think I've narrowed that down. But like back to you said, you guys are eating, and my crew's eating as well, and it's just like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You gotta eat.
Mom's every snack imaginable. Honest to God, I ate an entire bag of cheese curls between yesterday and this morning at 10 a.m. all by myself because no one else eats them in this house.
Oh my gosh!
I had cheese dust. It was like. Like,
sorry, excuse me. No, you're like sweating cheese dust.
Yes. And I'm like, I'm at the grocery store going, oh, maybe I should get some more cheese curls. I'm like, no, because I'll do it again. I could, and I've told you this before, but our listeners probably don't know this crazy part about me is that I like multiple things, like little things, rather than like biting into like something big and substantial. I prefer to have like Sour Patch Kids because I can put like 4 in my mouth at once.
Right.
Or M&M. Like it's so bizarre. Like I'm like, what happened to me as a young child that made me want to like
the gorge mentality?
Yeah. That's probably a whole nother episode with therapists that we should have.
Yeah, exactly. We should do that sometime. We should have Candace come on.
We should. I'm sure she'd be game for it.
Oh, right.
She's still working.
Oh, is she?
She is. So for our listeners, my sister is a marriage and family therapist that specializes in work with people in addiction recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And so their population are especially at risk right now for backsliding and all of that. So she's still working actively. They're looking at how to do services for clients remotely, like using Zoom.
Right.
But they haven't got that up and going yet. So she's still going into the office. They're keeping their distance and, arranging things and all of that. But so many people don't have the option of staying home.
Right. They don't.
And we need them to be able to be as safe as possible, which is why I'm so bent on making sure the rest of us stay home.
Yeah, exactly.
We can.
So here was an interesting thing. Maddie put on the calendar this morning that she's volunteering at the local grocery store. And so she came downstairs and we were talking about it. And I said, well, it's what they're doing is packing backpacks with food for the kids that don't have food at home. So I'm all in favor of her doing it. But my concern is how many people are going? And she said, oh, it's just 3 of us at a time.
Good.
So she said, you sign up for, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, however long you want to do it. But there's only 3 people doing it at a time. And I'm like, okay, that, and it was like, I hated to feel that way.
Yeah.
But, there was like, I had to go to physical therapy this morning. I have a tilted patella. Yeah.
Sounds like fruit and Nutella.
Yeah, it does. Well, guess what? It's nothing like that because I like Nutella. So, when I was,
I'm going to clean my phone.
Oh, okay. So I had to go to physical therapy this morning, and I really was kind of like, do I go? I mean, it's not 100% necessary that I go, but my knee is feeling a lot better going to physical therapy. And so that definitely affects my day-to-day, all up and down and walking life or whatever. So I'm like, okay, I'll go. But gosh, I felt guilty about it.
So I know you had said that this morning, and we have chiropractor appointments tonight.
Yeah.
And they are still open, but we haven't decided if we're going yet.
Well, but but then it's like, okay, so your chiropractor's going to lose that revenue if you don't go.
Well, luckily for my chiropractor, we pay ahead.
Okay.
And then we pay for a certain number of visits.
So they
already have our money.
Okay.
And, I'm grateful for that because they are a small family business too.
Right.
And we've paid up on a contract for a certain number of visits. So when we use those are up to us.
Mm-hmm.
I would benefit from going. I know that.
Right. I was going to say, I would gauge that as, is it going to be a benefit or is it maintenance? If it's a benefit, then I would go.
Yeah.
If it's just maintenance, I don't know.
And it is a benefit for me because I have headaches.
Right.
And I haven't been able to go since before our cruise.
Ooh, that's a long time.
It's been 3 weeks, I think, since I've gone.
Right.
And my thought is, like, what if they're closed by the time I could go back?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So, I don't know. We still haven't decided because, people are going in and putting their face down on this thing. And I'm sure they're keeping it very clean. The people are amazing. The doctors that run the practice. So I know they're doing everything they can to keep everybody safe. But,
Well, I'm like you. I'm taking this time when I'm not cooking to try to get more training and try to, I built a document for our agency of all the number of cancellation policies, and they were changing every day. It seems like that's kind of calmed down now.
Yeah.
But trying to find things like that I can do, that once our business comes back, because I'm very optimistic that once this is all kind of over with and we all get the all clear to go back to living, that people are going to be like, okay, now let me book my summer vacation.
Yes.
Now that we know that we can go, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I want to be like even more so informed. I'm taking this time to be even more so informed for the clients, and, just keeping in touch with my clients, that I have, my yearly clients and stuff that I have, that, because, you build that relationship with people. And even though I may not talk to them month to month, but I know, okay, this is the time of year you normally travel. Let me reach out to you and say, hey, I know we're not looking at going this year in April. What are you thinking? Maybe we could dream a little, and talk about places that you would like to, bucket list places or whatever. So that's what I'm trying to do.
And the truth is, we will get back to normal.
We will.
And so it's just a matter of hanging on. And luckily, we're in the great positions to do that. We're going to have to get creative and such in the interim. But, people, I think, completely agree with you that they're going to want to travel just like we are.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there was somebody made a joke this morning about, when the parks open again, I want to be first in line.
Right?
And I was like,
Don't you really want to?
oh, I would love to. I would love to. Oh,
I would really love to see drone photography right now of the parks.
So there is some.
Okay.
I saw one from yesterday. I'll share it with you because I don't want to pass it out on here. There will be one more. Excuse me.
Okay.
I always sneeze in threes.
Okay. I sneeze in twos.
Because I don't know the website well enough, and I don't want to but people could Google. There is pictures, and it is eerie.
Oh, I bet.
To see Magic Kingdom without a soul.
Yeah.
You see some custodial staff.
Mm-hmm.
In some of the
wondering, are they allowing some cast members to go in and do maintenance? Because, I mean, let's be brutally honest. Buzz Lightyear needs something done to it. I mean, if it's not just a little paint job, I mean, even.
It needs a lot.
It needs a lot done to it, but at least give it some love. So I'm wondering, are they allowing some cast members to, I mean, because you could let a painter go in there alone.
So what I've heard, because I follow some cast member blogs, what I've heard is that they are letting some people that are working independently in to do things.
Okay.
But it would be like one person over here at Buzz Lightyear or one person here. So that social distancing extraordinaire.
Yeah, exactly.
And because they're all continuing to get paid. And I did also hear that the call center is going to be getting some temp workers from elsewhere in the company.
Okay.
Like some of the people that were working concierge at the hotels, which already have trainings.
Yeah.
Help guests and to mitigate problems and find solutions.
Right.
Those types of people are going to be given opportunities to work from home. So they're getting really creative about some of that.
Oh, good.
So it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out.
Interesting, because I haven't touched base with her mom, but we had somebody that we knew personally that was just got accepted to the college program and had started in January. And so she has since come home since it happened.
They sent everybody home on the college program.
I'm assuming that they sent everyone home on the college program. And so I'm wondering how she
got a lot of backlash for that at first. Because they weren't given much notice. They were given like 3 or 4 days notice.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's just as much, if not more so, than what they would have gotten if they were at college.
Well, because and that was the thing.
Kids were dumped out in 12 hours or less.
Yeah.
And that was it.
There was a statement made after the fact, because people were online, keyboard warriors and stuff.
Yeah. Right.
But Disney came out and said that they have agreements with colleges that require them to take certain action. And that was all kind of tied up in that same thing.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
And that they're not putting people out on the street. So if somebody can't get home, like if you live in the UK or Italy right now, you can't fly from here to Italy right now. So they will continue to provide accommodations for those people. But the other people, they can't and they couldn't because of their contracts with colleges and all of that.
Makes sense.
I think it's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't situations.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a crappy situation and nothing they could do would be right. And people love to hate on Disney.
Yeah.
Just like, they love to hate on Apple, like Kyle's employer, and that they close down the stores. Well, but they're not a normal retail store.
Right.
When you go to an Apple store, it's A, always busy, and B, you touch everything there.
Right.
I think it would be socially irresponsible if they stayed open.
I agree.
So,
All right. I think we could probably talk about this for 2 weeks.
Oh, we could. Yeah, absolutely. Or we could just talk for 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Got to forget that we have listeners listening, and then this will later be turned into something. In fact, our plan to do this was 15 to 20 minutes. And
God. How long have we been doing this? It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. So Eric may have to edit parts of this. But the other thing that we wanted our listeners to know is that we are going to keep recording because we have plenty of social distance between New Hampshire and North Carolina. We're going to keep it going. So you're going to have that opportunity to still listen to us. And then, the other thing we're going to be looking at doing is maybe we can come up with some fun kind of ways to add some extra entertainment in. We mentioned Gina's cooking show, maybe Kyle's mixology show.
Right.
Maybe we'll try to figure out a way to do a YouTube game show live, because we can use YouTube Live.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And so maybe we could do that kind of thing, or we could invite listeners into a Zoom call. So we're going to be trying to think of some different
I would love to have listeners like on that we could talk to and ask us questions or whatever. That'd be fun.
It'd be super fun. So we will be looking for ways to do that. And then we'll also be kind of sharing information on social media. So follow us if you don't already, Fab4 Travel Talk.
I think we're both posting activities that you can do each day.
Yes.
Things that, just like if it's, I tell you what, the whole zoo webcam thing, I'm all about that.
Isn't that awesome?
Yes, it's totally awesome. I love it. Maybe they did it for kids, but it's a great reliever for me. I love learning about new animals and stuff. Yeah,
so if you follow either one of our individual accounts on social media, you're Gina at Mickey Guru.
Mm-hmm. Right.
On Instagram and Facebook.
Yep.
And I'm Mickey Guru on Instagram and Facebook. And we have activities that we're sharing, things, ideas, all kinds of stuff. So if you're looking for a place that has a little bit of happy online right now, you'll find it there.
Right. We could start sharing some of that stuff over on our Fab4.
We should just so people can see it, if they were there already, make it a little easier. But those animal cams.
Eric kind of teased that we would have some announcements coming up, and we will. Yeah. We're not going away. We're going to be here, so don't think that's what it is. It's not a negative, I don't think. So
no, I'm excited actually. I think it's going to open a whole new world.
Whole new world.
Yeah.
I wish I could sing.
Me too. Maybe we could learn how to sing while we're on this.
I know. If I could have a superpower, that's not a superpower, but I think I would want it to be able to sing.
I wonder if Ursula's busy.
Oh, let's talk to her. Yeah. She should be free, eh?
Yeah. She should have some time on her hands right now.
Right?
Just saying. All right, everybody. Well, we are not going anywhere. We will be here for you for the duration and beyond.
Exactly.
So feel free to reach out to us anyway, and we'll see you real soon.
Bye.